Gordon there on Mason Greenwood, who we'll get to in a second. However, just want to focus on the first player there who's been left out of the England squads this time around, and that is Ben Chilwell. I'll be doing a big feature on Ben Chilwell in the build-up to the game against Hungary tomorrow night, so stand by for that. But when you bear in mind Danny Murphy, I really want to know how Ben Chilwell is feeling. I want to know he's okay. It might sound a bit corny or cheesy, but I do. Well, the reason is because he's won the Champions League, started in the Champions League final, he's won it at the end of May and hasn't played since then. Was in the Euros, a right back was picked ahead of him at left back. He then had to self-isolate as well, saw Luke Shaw be brilliant, didn't get his place back. He's back late because he was at the Euros, and he's lost his place in the Chelsea team to Alonso, who's scored their first goal of the season. He's been pretty good. Error against Liverpool might let Chilwell back into the Chelsea side, but I'm looking at it thinking, wow, if that was me, to be that high at the end of May and then to be this low at the start of September, to be out of the England squad, completely out of the England squad, how must he be feeling?
Well, I think you have to give it context. So in a lot of the big games towards the end of last season, he played. And for me, that says he's Tuchel's first choice left back or wing back. Now, the reason I don't think he's in the starting lineup, because he's had, although he didn't play in the Euros as such, in terms of what you just said, Shaw was ahead of him. He was away training, and obviously Tuchel and the sports science staff there have brought players back. Some have come back at different times, and because he's got Alonso fit and raring to go, he's put him in the first few games. But I agree with Gareth what he said earlier when he's spoken to you, that Chilwell will soon be back in the Chelsea side playing, because week in, week out he's better than Alonso. He's probably not as much of a goal threat, although he can nick you a goal and he's good going forward. But I think all round he's better, he's quicker, he's a better defender. So we'll soon see him back in the Chelsea lineup. And ultimately, what you're talking about is concern in his mindset of him feeling low and thinking, what's happened? I would imagine a manager of Thomas Tuchel's intelligence has been communicating with him daily and has reassured him very much that he needs to just build his fitness up, have a little breather. It's a long season, you'll be back in soon, if not the next game. So I don't worry for him at all. I like him. I actually thought in the Euros that Shaw and Chilwell would have both been fuming when Trippier was picked, for obvious reasons. But after that first game, he had a choice to make who was going to play left-back, and he went with Shaw. And sometimes when you make a decision, because there wasn't much in it, I think if you asked the whole country, you'd have got a 50-50.
Yeah.
Now, when he chose Shaw, he went on to start, played great, didn't he? He had a really good tournament.
Really good tournament.
So it was very hard for them.
You couldn't leave him out.
No. And if Chilwell had started and he'd have done well, he wouldn't have, Shaw wouldn't have got him.
So there was that. So the Scotland game was the one that Shaw was chosen for, and after that game was when Chilwell had to self-isolate. I thought actually he might alternate between the two because there's nothing to pick. But once he's self-isolating, it's Shaw all day long, and he became too good to leave out, didn't he? So let's see if he responds well to it. Chilwell, I'm a Chilwell fan.
I am
a massive Chilwell fan.
I think one thing he definitely has, and you can tell in the way he plays, he's very calm. Calm under pressure. He's got good feet. He backs himself. He's turned into a very confident player, different player than he was at Leicester.
There was a moment actually. It was around about the 10th minute of the Champions League final where Sterling's on the break down the left. He crosses the ball. It looks perfect for Mahrez to score. Out of nowhere, Chilwell cuts it out and saves a certain goal, which would have put City 1-up. So defensively and going forward, I think he's terrific. Hopefully he'll be okay and he'll come back. On Mason Greenwood, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came out after Gareth Southgate left him out of the England squads, and he said this. These are his quotes. He said, "I had a good conversation with Gareth. We discussed Mason. The boy wants to play for his country. I think at the moment the best thing for him to do is focus on his day-to-day football, and I'm sure he will come good for England in the end." So it's a conversation Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's had with Gareth Southgate, and both seem to be in agreement that just taking Greenwood out of the international limelight for now, for a short while, is probably the way forward for him. But there's no doubting he's a terrific talent. He started the season on fire, and there's no way, with respect, that Patrick Bamford's better than Mason Greenwood. So it looks from the outside a little bit odd, but if you're on the inside of that conversation that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has kind of hinted at and given us a few clues as to what was said, does it make sense to you?
To a degree. I mean, he's 19. This is the thing with these young lads we're talking. 19.
They bypassed the under-21s and the under-20s, haven't they?
What he's got that natural knack. You can see when he finishes how natural it is. He doesn't have to think. He scores goals effortlessly on both feet. In fact, I can't remember a forward being so comfortable on both feet since Fowler. Fowler was very comfortable either way. And Greenwood looks lovely on his right foot. I mean, I know he's left-footed, but his right foot really confident.
Is he left-footed?
just about, which is a big compliment to him. But what I really like about him, and what my concern for him, is the signing of Ronaldo. Now, I don't want to put a damper on it because I'm as excited to see Ronaldo play in the Premier League again as anybody. I mean, I love watching the best players play, and it's going to be fascinating how he fits into the team and how he builds relationships with the likes of Fernandes and Sancho. Of course, we're going to all enjoy watching that. But I think Greenwood, although he's played on the right and scored goals on the right, I think he's a centre forward. And with Cavani still there, because I thought he might go when Ronaldo signed, a last minute kind of deal somewhere. Getting the minutes in that position for him to learn that position, we'll say learn it, he's played it probably most of his childhood, but to evolve at that level in that role as a 9 is going to be limited for him. And his opening day performance against Leeds showed, I mean, I've seen him more than once play as a striker, but he's got that lovely variation in his game, when to come to feet. And when he comes to feet, he's got great awareness, good passes, good pass for the ball, can easily do that, but he doesn't mind running behind as well. I mean, he's not lightning. He's not. Simon Jordan was comparing to Mbappe there. That was a bit of a silly comparison for Simon, really. He's not quite at that level. Not yet, because he's not got the pace of Mbappe. But he's a more natural finisher. So, more of a 9 than Mbappe, who plays more wide and sometimes plays as a 9. But I think Greenwood, although he might have to wait a bit longer than we first thought because of Ronaldo's signing, he could go on to be an absolute legend for United. I mean, a proper number 9 for them. Like somebody who just...
Let's get this straight. Do you think Ronaldo's going to hold him back?
Delay his progression, yeah. Yeah, because I thought this season, and I think Ollie did as well, that Cavani and Greenwood, maybe a sprinkle of Martial now and again, but probably Greenwood and Greenwood and Cavani would be the 2 main strikers. And then play Greenwood on the right as and when he needed to give Sancho a breather or whatever, Now, with Ronaldo coming in there, which is not something that's been planned for months by United, we know that. It's just happened really quite quickly. They've brought him in, which is a gamble in terms of, them wanting to win the league. They brought him in, but it will be at the detriment of some of the other players, and that's keeping that balance of everybody happy. Is Cavani going to get enough minutes? Is Greenwood Greenwood's 19, so he'll suck it up. He's got loads of time. But I think that's the only negative of the signing is the what's the right word? The delay in Greenwood's education of playing more minutes in games, because you learn by playing over and over. You learn every time you play, but if you're playing 1 in 4, 1 in 3 in the position you want to play, your education and progression is slower.
Very interesting.